Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan, and thank you for tuning in on an amazing Saturday, and thank you for spending your time with us. Always appreciate you listening to the show, and we've got a good one for you as always. It's a busy Saturday. Fall is around the corner, and it's a big day in East Tennessee. Big game, home game away, and so we got time to listen to Real Estate with Ryan. Later game today. Appreciate you checking in. As always, we've got a good show for you. Today we're talking about why this fall could be the second spring market. That's right. Why the fall could be the second spring market. We're talking about that. Why buyers and sellers face different conditions today and where to expect moving forward. Baby generation. A lot of those guys are selling those properties. And you say, well, downsizing, Ryan. We'll say downsizing. Maybe that's downgrade. No, maybe that's quality increase and just avoiding all the expenses and things involved. So we'll talk about that. In the second half of the show, we got a report from the National Association of Realtors talking about some of the sales across the country. We'll talk about a little bit more of the spring market. And then we'll recap, the North, Northeast, Midwest. We'll talk about the sales in the South. And, of course, we'll talk about the West Coast, some of the sales that are there and numbers across the country. In case you're moving across the country, you kind of know where the market's at. So that, as always, before we get started, we've got to start our congrats. New listings pending. It's been a busy week. Before we get started, as always, let's start with our new congrats and new listings. So new listing on 8410 Woodbend Trail in Knoxville, over in the Rocky Hill subdivision area. Great listing. Just at the market, already got a lot of showings on that, so make sure you check that property out. 206 Timber Lodge Lane in Sevierville, going live. English Mountain Point, White Plains, a building lot out there, waterfront lot, by the way. Make sure you check that property out. Misty Point Way in Knoxville, went under contract. Congrats. Dorset Drive, 848 Dorset Drive, closed in Knoxville the other day. Sweet, sweet client. So glad to help her. Moved into a condo and just got off the phone with her and just appreciated all that we did, and just a pleasure to have a good closing like that. So glad to be a little service there. And, of course, we've got a game today, 4:15, Mississippi State Bulldogs. Tennessee will play them at 4:15. All right, so what were we talking about here? Well, so much going on. As we know, it's a Saturday, a lot going on. Kiddos still doing fall. Things going on. We were busy this week, real busy week, and make sure you watch out for us next week. We've got our new commercial coming out. Miles Kitzelman and Carla Pickens, a great lady softball pitcher there. Guys were amazing, both great student athletes, and had some fun doing that. And so make sure if you're out there in social media land, check us out. You also see us on TV. Most importantly, that we got a home game. We'll talk about that in the second half, Real Estate with Ryan. But we got some great giveaways from Carlin and Miles, some autographs and things like that. So make sure you like, share, follow our channels, and keep you up to date with everything that we're doing. So we'll start giveaways next week, and we'd love to send you to the home game. And then for the ladies and young ladies out there, softball's coming around in the spring. Actually, we've got a series coming up in, and I think September 26, playing Roan State, a couple other teams locally. You may have a chance to see Carlin and the girls out there play a little softball. So watch us. We'll be giving away tickets all year long. So something to keep in track. But that was fun, real fun. I had a chance to do that with my daughter came, and she's a big softball pitcher and plays softball. Probably hasn't played as much as she's played basketball. She's going about the third year, but does really, really well. And it was a great influence for her to meet Carlin and Miles and everything like that. And so, great time. So I hope you guys enjoy it, see it out. Let us know what you think. We spent a lot of time and effort out there, but we had fun doing it. So most importantly, thanks to the staff at UT and athletics department for allowing us to be on campus and in the stadium, and it was just a fun time. So I hope you like the spot. Keep an eye out that, and share us your comments. Only good stuff there. I think we had fun, and I think you'll appreciate the spot. All right, let's get into our show. We got a lot going on, but our team worked hard on that. Let me just let you know. It was fun stuff, but shout out to my team. They really put a lot of work behind that to make this spot come out, and I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of my guys say it's going to be one of the best that we've done. So we'll see. I tell you, it was really exciting. I'll tell you just a quick tidbit, maybe just a quick tidbit. I had a chance to see Carlin prior on TV, but I didn't have a chance to see her in person. Now, my wife and my daughter had a chance to see her. Well, she was working, and in the commercial that we're doing, she's throwing some pitches. Well, I'm going to tell you, guys, I watched her at half speed. One of our production guys, or one of the head guys, was in there as well, and even Miles, briefly, watch her throw it. It's an amazing, and there's no way you would get me in there catching that ball. I'm just going to let you know, guys, it's for real. She can sling it, and it's tough. It's tough. So make sure y'all watch Lady Vols out there softball this year. Check her out. I mean, the way she throws that ball, you have to see the commercial. Don't do it justice, but man, it's impressive. It's impressive. I've got some bloopers and some behind the scenes rolls. I'll get that on our channels. Another reason to watch our channels. Always got some good stuff going on. Let's get to the housing market. Enough about that. Buyers and sellers are facing different conditions today. Obviously, as the market changes across the country, it's a little bit stagnant, but could it be the second spring coming this fall? That's an opportunity. We see the housing market change a little bit. We saw builders in August increase sales. Was watching one of the news articles I was chatting with. So we're seeing a lot of a uptick in new construction, but what we don't see behind the scenes, big tract builders like D.R. Horton, Lennar out in Nashville and things like that the builders have so much incentive power and things to do. And so when you look at some of these properties where you don't see the listing price change, keep in mind that some incentives are, this number was staggering to me. We're offering up to 14% in concessions. 14%. So, $400,000 or $500,000 house, 14% in concessions could be almost $70,000, $60,000, $70,000. That's a lot of money. And so they're using that for closing costs, buy downs, upgrades. So you can see in the housing market, there's competition. And then what I've talked about on this show for a long time is that as sellers on resales, we really have to focus in on those new construction. We really have to know that those are real competitions that buyers in today's market are taking advantage of. And so pricing is key and marketing is so important. As we progress into this second spring market, as I would call it, second spring market, where the interest rates have now been changed, probably where they're going to be for the duration till probably November, end of October, November. There's opportunities now that more buyers are coming back into the marketplace, and opportunities for sellers if you're thinking about downsizing and buying their next home in cash. I thought that was important. Records show that homeowners are mortgage-free. According to an analysis, that 40% of U.S. occupied homes are mortgage-free. That's 4 in 10 homes. That was a kind of shocking statement that we have. More homeowners are buying their next home outright without taking a mortgage on it. So the last couple of years, we've seen the increase from, I would say, the last 5 or 6 years in home prices just continually going up. And as a homeowner, your equity is the biggest advantage that you can have today. If you're mortgage-free and you can close on it, the power to buy your next home is tremendous. What can that give you in today's market? It gives you less financial stress as you get a little older, more cash flow, right? If you purchase a less expensive home, have more opportunity to travel, things to do there. And quite honestly, a cash deal is one of our easiest opportunities. You don't have to deal with the lenders. You don't have to go back and forth and let me get your pay stub and let me get this and where did you buy that? And oh, by the way, we got to go back through underwriting and we're going to look at it again and oh no, we're going to check to see if you're still employed that morning. And I mean, it's just a lot to it, right? And understandably so. But a cash deal is quick. You can move quickly. Some of our deals will close in 7-10 days cash if you need to do that. And as a buyer, that gives you more negotiating power more than ever. So you come in on a cash deal, normally not an appraisal unless it's some of our higher end properties. But even those contingencies can be cleared in, 7 to 10 days. So how it works, if you sell your current home you're going to roll those proceeds over to the next one. And more than likely, you're going to accumulate that equity over the years to hopefully buy the next one outright. Baby boomers are now especially buying in cash, and it gives you more control over your next chapter, I think, which is key. Because downsizing isn't about downgrading your home. It's about upgrading your quality of life, and it's definitely something worth exploring that we're seeing as everything is just so expensive. We got a little bit of time. We'll come right back with the second half with Real Estate with Ryan.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, second half of Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Hard to get out of those breaks sometimes. It's just so much to cover and less time. But busy day. We were talking about in this first half of the show, baby boomers paying the next house cash. It's an opportunity. We won't talk much more about our 60-second vol update. Let's do that real quick. We'll make it real quick. We'll jump right back into our topic. Our 60-second vol update. Drum roll, please. As you know, we're busy. Big game, 4 o'clock, 4:15 to be exact. Mississippi State Bulldogs. Big game. Road game, always challenging. Excited to see Miles and the crew down there and hoping for a big win. Make sure you like, share, and follow our page coming up. We got new commercials with Carla Pickens, Miles Kitzelman. Make sure you check those out. You'll see it on social media. Like, share, and follow. That's all you have to do to be registered to win. Next week, we're at home, October 11th. I think this next week, or I think we got a bye week, but October 11th is our next home game. Make sure you check it out. Opportunity to send 2 lucky fans. Parking pass included. And then, of course, we have some autographed swag from some of our great student athletes, Carla and Miles. So that's our 60-second Vol update. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. So much going on. All right, so we're getting back into the show. I'm going to kind of stay focused here, laser focused. So we're talking about baby boomers generation buying cash, how it's not downgrading. No, it's downsizing. No, it's getting to a more quality of life. So many people in the baby boomer generation that we have, and we don't need the 8,000 square foot house or 5,000 square foot house. I'm going to the condo. I don't need all that. Some of the kids have gotten bigger, We'll be there one day. Hopefully not soon, but it'll be there, and we don't need that space. I really say that it's seasonality. We talk about seasons in real estate, but it's seasons in life. And, so a lot of opportunity that we've grown in equity, and really we really push real estate. Not because we're in sales, but it's really one of the best investments. Of course, it makes memories, Buying a house is not just about, numbers. There's some of that comes in there. But, buying a home has a great advantages of it. And that equity appreciation versus renting, just throwing money away, is a great opportunity that over the years, hopefully, you can roll into the next house and get that appreciation to where, like our generation is now, paying those homes off in cash. So great opportunities looking forward. Let's talk about our main topic, why the spring market could be the fall season. That doesn't even make sense, but it sure could. Spring market mortgage rates rekindle buyers' interest for the National Association of Realtors. They've got a report out, kind of hit the highlights, also kind of go what's going on across the country. South. We know what's going on in the South. How about the Midwest? How about the Northeast? We're going to cover all that. The latest housing data largely stated that buyers appear to hold back for the right opportunity. We see that in the Knoxville housing market, right? Homes sitting a little bit longer, have to make some adjustments. Number one factor that we're talking to people about is what? It's affordability. We're facing it every day, and mortgage rates have got a little bit lower to the low sixes. Mortgage rates have dropped over the recent weeks. It's hard when you're at 7.5%. That makes a difference. Still, the market remains in a holding pattern. It's I'm not going to get political, but President Trump said this, that we felt like the rates are. We hear him some of these one-liners that the Fed waited a little bit longer, but you're kind of seeing that to a certain degree that these rates have adjusted, but they're now just in the fall season. But why do we see that? We saw August reports come out that new construction surged. Several refinance opportunities have come in the marketplace. And even though they've been sluggish over the past couple of years, there's an opportunity that this fall, going into the first quarter of 2026, is a great opportunity. And that's opened up inventory, giving buyers more options. August inventory levels rose about 12% from a year ago, but the median days on market across the country, now this is median, was 31 days in August, up only a couple of days from 26 prior. Kind of opening the door more for the first-time buyer. A lot of opportunities don't realize that a first-time buyer in today's housing market. I was talking to one of my employees about that his son or his grandsons, to get into the housing market, man, it's just almost looked at that opportunity is fading away. But with the rates being lower, more opportunities, more adjustments, that's becoming more of a reality. Let's see. The housing part suggests that lower prices obviously going to make less competition in the spring market. The spring market, which is now always the busiest time of the year, but the fall opportunity is really where we see, I always tell you, it's our busiest time other than the spring market, because we have so many corporate relocations, people that have to be here by January 1, especially some of our high-end property. Got a great condo listed downtown, Regus building. Make sure you check it out. Unit 617, luxury penthouse, just went on the market and had a great showing yesterday on it. And those type of properties need to be available towards the end of the year. But you have so many people that are in the housing market, or buyers and sellers, but sellers that say, well, I'm thinking about pulling my home off because I'm just going to wait. I'm going to do some stuff with the holidays. And quite honestly, with the rates adjusting and having your home positioned on the market, there never could be a better opportunity. Because the challenge is, if you're going to look for a home in today's market and housing market, you're not looking at off-market deal. We're not, they're in here for a weekend, especially if you're 8 hours plus away. They just don't have the time for it. And a lot of our buyers from out the country, some of them can't even make it here. We have friends and family members. They're using our digital technology to kind of do walkthroughs. And so those are crucial in making sure that your house is on the market, it's priced right, you got the right marketing. But if they don't know you're for sale, unfortunately, you may lose that opportunity on a buyer. And that is crucial. Also notes, buyers are regaining some negotiating power. We're seeing some of that. We're seeing buyers having a little bit more negotiating power in the deal in the recent years, which can make up for some of the interest rates and some of the affordability across the country. Let's talk about some of the sales across the country, I think is key. Let's look at some stats. Let's see. Northeast. Do you want to go over the Northeast first? Let's talk about that. Sales in the Northeast, existing home sales fell 4% in August, reaching an annual rate of 480,000. They're still down 2% from compared to a year ago, but the median house price in the Northeast is about $534,000, and that's up 6.2% from a year ago. How about the Midwest? Sales rose 2.4%, setting an annual rate of $960,000. Sales are up 3.2% compared from a year ago. All right. And the median price in the Midwest, one of the most affordables in the country. The Midwest, where if you're looking to move, check out the Midwest. It's probably still one of the only affordable areas in the country. And sales are up 3.2% compared from a year ago. And the median sales price is $330,000, and that's up 4.5% from a year ago. The South, Well, that's where we're at. Existing home sales dropped 1.1% in August for an annual rate of 183 million. Sales, however, still up 3.4% from a year ago, with the median sales price of $364,000, up 0.4% from August. Now, the West Coast, California, our guys out there, existing home sales increased 1.4% in August compared to July, but reaching an annual rate of $730,000, and that's down 1.4%. That sounds lower. Median sales price is up in California. That's hard to believe, $624,300 with a 0.6% from a year ago. So a lot of news going into that, and why all those numbers kind of relate to this fall market. Buyers have more to choose from. We talked about that. More selection means more opportunities. Sellers have to be realistic in today's market of what's out there. The number of homes listed are up 15% this year. And, there's more inventory now than we've seen in a while, which is a good thing to a certain degree. And then more homes mean more time to shop. Opportunities for a showing and a second showing. Buyers can lock in on their budgets, which are key. Don't forget your budget. If you're starting to look, probably the most important thing that you want to focus on. Obviously, want to get excited, want to look online, want to, get Ryan out there to look at a couple houses. You want to lock in with your agent, with your lender, and get some numbers together, right? Make sure that the numbers and your budget match, because if it's not affordable, the last thing you want to do is go out there and get excited about a price range that's going to stretch you out of your budget. Prices have flattened in certain markets, all right? So keep that in mind. Sellers are maybe a little bit more open in opportunities. There are some adjustments in pricing, so keep in mind if the prices adjust, that doesn't mean they're going to give it away. They've already made adjustments to improve, and we're seeing that at price adjustments, usually we're seeing homes go under contract fairly quick. Still may be able to avoid some multiple bid opportunities, but we're still seeing those out there. I hope you've enjoyed the show as always. Try to cover a lot today with Real Estate with Ryan. Most importantly, I hope y'all have an amazing weekend. Thank you for listening to the show. Come back next weekend. Have a great weekend.